Now then, I hope you're all doing well. So today I'm going to be reviewing Walsall Scaremaze. It's a rather small event, so I didn't capture enough footage to really warrant a vlog, so I've decided to do it via this method instead. I did get some images and a few little clips here and there, so I'll throw them in as I'm discussing certain aspects of the event. But let's get straight into it. So before I get into my actual review of the Scare House, I just want to clarify, this year at Walsall Scaremaze, there are two experiences. You have the Scare House, which is what I experienced on Saturday. That's a story-driven maze. And then you also have new for this year. This is a wavered Scare Maze. Well, I wouldn't even say a Scare Maze, Scare Experience, called Enola. Fun fact, Enola is alone spelt backwards, which I found very clever. Simple but clever. Now, I will come into Enola in a bit more detail soon because that is an extreme experience. Tickets are not available online. You are only a little bit allowed to purchase them at the venue. The reason for that is that they want to vet each customer who's going to experience that. This is a very extreme experience where people will be subject to many... you could almost look at it as torture. It's not torture. But it's on that fine line of torture. But I'll come into that in more detail soon. So yeah, there's two experiences: Scare House and Enola. Two very, very different experiences. And one cost Scare House, which I did on Saturday, cost £18. Enola cost £14. You don't have to pay to do Scare House and Enola. You could, if you want to do just Enola, you can do, and you can just do the Scare House as well. So as we got to Walsall Scaremaze, the entrance was nothing elaborate, a simple entranceway with a few bits of theming, desk. We checked in, got us tickets, we headed into the courtyard at the back. It's a smoking area of a bar that this event is held at. There's very few things in there. There was a stage in the back with a circus theming style. There was no entertainment, I believe, on the night. However, I'm assuming that might be on later on in the month. Some seating, a cattle pen queue. You had the entrance to Enola. To the left of that, you had the entrance to a form of square bar with alcohol and popcorn and things like that. There was a very nice smell of popcorn in there, actually. To the left of that entrance was a food place called Burger Queen, because the bar that you're actually at is a gay bar. So I found that quite amusing, honestly. But that's pretty much it for the courtyard. So let's get into the maze itself. So we actually had to wait 15 to 20 minutes. Our time slot was at 9 o'clock, so we didn't get in till about 9:15 because the actors were on a break. Perfectly fine. Not complaining about that. I understand. Get yourself a cigarette, get yourself a drink. Could understand it's very tiring after doing it for a long period of time. However, we joined the queue. We waited about 10 minutes. Nothing major at all. Kind of good because it got to build that suspense. The queue line, you can almost look at it as a staggering point. So once we past the queue, once it was our time to enter, we entered it into the Gothic facade that is part of the courtyard. We then entered into a form of green room with basically a photo opportunity. Another room kind of slowly used to stagger till you get into the batching area, because I thought once you'd finished the photo opportunity, that was the maze, you were in there. However, it wasn't. You went down a ramp into a cellar, basically, and a lot of theming in there, an animatronic, an actor, basically setting the storyline for what you're just about to experience, making you understand what the Scare House is, who the owner was, all that good stuff. I'm not going to go into detail because I'd rather you go and experience it for yourself, because honestly, it is a great storyline, it's a great maze, but I would rather not give away too much in detail so that it's fresh for people who do want to go and experience it. However, after that pre-show area, which lasted a few minutes, we were then led to basically into the maze, and then it started. The one thing I want to point out is that the theming was fantastic in every section. Very well thought out, the finer details. You could never really see the roof in sections. The smell pods were fantastic. The lighting, the rat holes that they would use to try and get scares were very small in places. In places they even were along the ground, so they can grab your ankles and things like that. The lighting was fantastic in certain sections. I love the use of strobes in scare mazes because it's very disorientating, and there was great use of that. With Walsall Scaremaze, it's a little bit different because you kind of get stopped here and there by an actor. Not to be scared, it's kind of to try and stagger you from the group ahead, whilst also keeping that storyline going, which was very, very cool. But overall, the experience lasted about 20 to 30 minutes, rather short. But I think it generally has world-class set design. I think that the idea of such a small company being able to produce such good quality set design is incredible, really. We have the likes of Merlin in this country who couldn't put together a decent maze if you literally paid them to. But yet you have a company slash owner who is basically working from their own back pocket, it would seem, to create this very unique, story-driven, well thought out, you could almost look at it as a community-based scare maze, because they actually want your feedback, and you could tell that their feedback was taken on board, and we even spoke to the owner at the end, who said that he is aware of certain mistakes and things that he isn't happy with, and that's good to hear, because that means that there's always going to be that chance of evolving it, always that chance of pushing it that little bit extra. However, that's the Scarehouse review. I gave the Scarehouse review a 9 out of 10 originally in my vlog footage. Obviously, I'm not showing that. I'm still sticking to that review. I think the lighting, the theming, the actors, the whole experience, the story just created that amazing atmosphere, and really suspenseful, and just the idea of being story driven rather than just aimlessly wandering through a maze made it a little bit more of an intense experience, and that can only get better each year as well. Now I'm going to keep this very short and sweet because I am fully conscious of the time of this video. I didn't want it to be very long. Enola is a wavered scare experience at Walsall. It's new for this year. I really need to point out before I quickly discuss this is not for the faint of heart. You will be subject to things unlike other scare mazes. You'll be subject to things such as force-fed insects, muscle stimulation machines, waxing, shaving, hair removal in general, nudity, you included, not just the actors, sexual acts, not physical sexual acts, but mimicking sexual acts, all kinds of things. So I will put the brief up now, what's shown outside, and if you want to pause and have a look, please do. But this is an extreme experience. I am going to be going to experience it later on this month. It was delayed due to, I think the owners didn't think it was ready yet, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to be heading back at some point to both do the Scarehouse and Enola. So there will be an Enola review to follow. But that is a new experience. I believe that's £14 per person. You can only buy tickets at the venue because this is an experience which you need to be vetted before. For example, they don't want someone who's coming in who's on drugs and drunk experiencing this. God knows what could happen. So yeah, you need to be vetted before you are allowed to go into Enola. They don't want someone who's 35 stone, who you might have diabetes going into this form of experience. So please be aware that you can't buy the tickets online. You can only buy tickets for the Scarehouse online. So, but just quickly, I'm going to close it out there. The event as a whole, I was very happy with. I will be returning next year. As I've just mentioned, I'll be returning again this year for Enola. 9 out of 10. It was fantastic. Fully recommend it. I really can't say enough about it. And to say the company that owns it and the gentleman are so lovely and such a small company, and they're producing world-class event like that. It'd just be great to see them expand it and add maybe another maze where possible. I appreciate they don't really have the space for that, but it would be nice if they could possibly get another venue somewhere else in the future. But yeah, that's my review over. Just before I close out, I'm going to say a big thank you to Theme Park Jam. He did give me some advice on providing reviews. I appreciate this is somewhat a bit rushed because I'm conscious of time. He has put together an amazing review of Walsall Scaremaze. I really do recommend checking that out. I'll link it below. But Laura and James over at Theme Park Jam are absolutely amazing. They do some real detailed reviews on the experiences, especially Halloween experiences. So I really do recommend checking them out. But thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and peace.